Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Connor Williams, and we're back with another one of our 24/7 news report videos. As always, we start with the headline news, and the headline news this evening is that Everton are exploring a £35 million move for Watford winger ISMAILA Sarr next month in the January transfer window. However, Watford do expect to keep their key players next month for a promotion charge in the second half of the season. That's come via the Mirror Football. We ran a poll asking, would you take ISMAILA Sarr for 35 million on the Toffee Blues Twitter? If you want to get involved in the polls, go follow us on Twitter. After some major breaking stories, we put the poll as the first replied tweet. So we asked, and currently 386 of you have voted. It's only been open for about half an hour. 45% are saying yes, 19.7% are saying they don't know, 34.7% are saying no. I think the only reason people are saying no is because it's a high price, but then again, is it that high? He's a good player, great dribbler, looks on it every time they give him the ball. He looks like he's going to do something. Had a very good World Cup. Every time he had the ball, he felt like there was going to be something to happen. He's just got that ability that like Alan St. Maxim has, for example. ISMAILA Sarr has it. They have this ability as a winger where as soon as you get the ball to them, they move with such pace, such skill. You just think something will happen because of the way they push on, they put intent. And ISMAILA Sarr is one of those type of players. So every time he gets the ball, you do sort of think, oh, something good's going to come of this now. And yeah, so I mean, does he get into our team? 100%. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, I don't know how he gets in. He easily gets in over Gordon or McNeil for me. So yeah, it's just a price, isn't it? But I also don't think Watford want to let him go. João Pedro's another one. And we won't be the only club, which leads me on to the next one. Everton, Aston Villa and Crystal Palace are all considering signing ISMAILA Sarr during the January transfer window. That's come via Ignacio Gunardi, who is a writer for 365 Football in France, I believe. Yeah, we're not the only club, not a major surprise there, is it? He's a very good player. Good players attract teams. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. Hopefully we do get him. There is a lot of potential there, and he's still young. And like I said, he just has that ability to make something of not a lot, which is something at Everton we really, really lack. I think we lack players that can do that type of ability. Certainly, it's a green light from me. 35 million, I also don't think it's that much for him. We also have the news of Gerard Branthwaite's future. He's made claims about his future. The Everton defender faces an anxious wait as the club mulls over the next move regarding him. The 20-year-old has impressed so far on loan at PSV, but reports suggest some Premier League sides and Italian giants AS Roma are interested in him this winter. Branthwaite has played a bit part so far in Ruud van Nistelrooy's side with guaranteed game time and subsequent development top of the players' wishes. So it looks like he could be on his way out. Premier League teams are looking at him, and Roma, I don't know how he's not getting in how he's not usable in our team. Cody and Barlow are good. You know, we played Michael Keane the other day in a cup game. This is where Branthwaite should be coming in. We had something extended on that. PSV want to keen to keep hold of Branthwaite until the end of the season. Some Premier League clubs, like I said, in Roma are after him. Dutch outlet Voetbal International have said that the future of Gerard Branthwaite is a subject of discussion between PSV and Everton. The team from Heidenhoven would like to keep the defender in the second half of the season. Branthwaite moved from Everton to PSV on a rental basis last summer. It's the first half of the season. The defender's made 11 appearances, scored a goal against Feyenoord. So obviously, they want to keep him. And then finally, the last bit of news on him is just from Sport Witness confirming that Roma are looking at him. Jose Mourinho is keen to replace the outgoing Rick Karsdorp, Karsdorp was the one who had that poor performance, and Mourinho basically said there was a saboteur out there tonight and he is leaving the team. That was Karsdorp. So it looks like Mourinho is now looking at Branthwaite. Like I said, if Roma are looking at him, Mourinho likes him. I don't understand why he's not getting at least some game time in Everton. You can rest Tarkowski or Cody and play it. Probably Tarkowski because he's a bit more that mould. Rest Tarkowski and play him. If big clubs in the Prem are looking at him and Roma are looking at him, the fact that he can get into this Everton side, or if there's the thought at the club that he doesn't get into this Everton side, then questions need to be asked for me by whoever makes those decisions. Because if he can't get in this Everton side, then I really don't know what to say. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one, guys. But for me, I think play him. Moving on, though, we do have some more incoming news as well regarding a couple of familiar names and one name that shone really bright in the World Cup. First of all, though, we'll go with the usual name, and that is Brozier, a player that we were linked with all of the summer, Armando Brozier. And it looks like that's not stopping. I think these rumours will happen as long as Frank Lampard's in charge, but this puts them to bed a little bit. Chelsea refused to sell Everton Target in 2023. The Albanian recently penned a 6-deal contract at Chelsea after being linked with moves to West Ham, AC Milan, Newcastle, and Everton. According to the Italian publication Calcio Mercato, the Londoners are unwilling to part with him on a permanent basis. Although he's not currently part of Graham Potter's immediate plans, they have no intention of selling him to his future plans. I think if he does leave, it'll be on loan. I don't think he's a player right now that I'm gutted that we're not getting. In all honesty, I mean, he'd probably be a bit better than Moipai, but I don't think he'd come in and immediately replace the goals that Fit Calvert-Lewin gets. It certainly puts to bed the full getting him permanently, though. He'd cost us absolutely thousands, wouldn't he? To get that, to get him on a permanent deal. So that's not going to happen, especially after a 6-year contract. So I think that's put to bed now, and I don't see that happening much more. Moving on, though, we have got some more news, and this time it is concerning none other than Jonathan David, who is currently was at the World Cup with Canada at the time of recording. Canada had been kicked out. So, yeah. And it's Kevin Kilbane's actually backed this as well, which is very interesting. Kevin Kilbane believes Lille forward Jonathan David would be much more suited to Everton, having compressed in the World Cup. The forward scored 9 goals in League One this season, and Kilbane said, "I've seen a lot of him. I think he didn't perform in the way he's capable of playing at the World Cup. But there was talk 18 months ago of Arsenal, whether it was going to be Jesus or David. I don't think he's at that level personally. But if I'm looking at a club like Everton, I think he's a player that can go and make Everton better. He's the right age. He's a player where I feel that he can only get better. And I think there's more improvement in his game. So there's certainly goals in him. We've seen that from him, and when he's playing at Lille, I've seen it for Canada. There's a lot of ability, but a lot of development to come. I actually really like Jonathan David. I do. I think he's a very, very good player. With a lot of potential. I'm not surprised Arsenal were after him. I think he could do a job at us. He can play anywhere behind the striker and in striker, so he's very, very useful in that aspect. So that is great to see. The only thing is, if Kevin Kilbane's saying it, it's not really a link. It's Kevin Kilbane saying it. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. I think he'd fit the team well, but I personally can't see that happening as of yet. I also don't think Lille let him go unless it's for big money. Lille are a very clever club in terms of buying cheap and selling on for profit. And recently they found themselves in a bit of a financial situation where they're gonna have to sell him for a lot of money to make recoup some of that ideal. Now, Andre Gomez is at Lille. Whether that could sort of be used as a coin in there. He is at Lille currently. I don't know how he's been getting on. I don't know if he's doing really, really well and Lille want him on a permanent basis or not. But yeah, I'd be a little bit interested in seeing if we can sort of do them a deal for him. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. It's a tough one, isn't it? We'll have to wait and see. We also had the news of another World Cup start, and that is Goncalo Ramos. who scored a hat-trick the other day in the World Cup. Really good hat-trick. I believe it was a hat-trick anyway. Yeah, really, really good player. We were linked with him in the summer. I know Baz from Toffee TV said that we were linked with him in the summer and didn't get him. And apparently the links are now resurfacing that we're after him, which is very interesting. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. He netted a hat-trick. He's been on the Toffee's radar since the summer. We see him as potentially a Richarlison replacement. It's sod's law, isn't it? He was a really good player, clearly, but he's just gone and proven why we're after him. And he's just stuck another 20 million on his price tag, which is unfortunate for us. It's a bit like the Kudus thing. I don't know if we'll actually get him now. Feels a bit like the Kudus thing where we're after him and now we're probably not going to get him because he's just gone and had an absolute worldie of a game at the World Cup. And he's still there, so he could go on to win the World Cup, which also adds to his price tag. But anyway, that's all we got time for. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and comment down below any of your thoughts on anything I've spoken about today. And I'll see you guys very soon.